There are a lot of different calendar systems in the world, and I really like learning about them. They each have their own interesting quirks, and they tend to be really important to the cultures they're from, marking important holidays and events and stuff. I'm gonna be honest though, when I try to forget about that and just look at them from a kind of design perspective, a lot of them suck. Not just that, they suck in ways that would be really simple and easy to fix, and I don't understand why we measure time this way. So, how about I go on a little rant about it and try teaching you guys a bit about calendar systems along the way. Besides days, there are, fundamentally, two things that happen in the sky that people use to measure time. 1. The moon goes in a circle around the Earth, causing the phases of the moon, and it takes about 29.5 days to do so. 2. The Earth goes in a circle around the sun, causing the seasons, which takes 365 days plus about 6 hours. From these two events, we get two things: the month and the year. But you will note, there is a problem. Lunar months do not fit evenly into solar years. The moon goes around the Earth roughly 12.4 times in the time it takes the Earth to go around the sun, so having 12 months in a year is too few, while 13 months is too many. Oh no, how will we ever create a timekeeping system that accounts for this? Well, people have come up with three main ideas, one of which even makes sense, but I'll save it for last. Stupid idea number 1. Let's make months just 1/12 of a year. This is called a solar calendar, and the idea is that by making months an average of 30.4 days instead of 29.5, you make it so that 12 months fit evenly into a year. The calendar system of my culture, the Gregorian calendar, is one such system, and it is fucking idiotic! If we're not going to have months that line up with the lunar month, why do we even have months anymore? We could accomplish the exact same thing just by numbering our days after every spring equinox or something. Dates would have two numbers on them, the year and the day of the year. It would be so much simpler and easier and do exactly the same thing. So why do we keep around these weird units of time that slowly fall out of sync with the phases of the moon? Stupid idea number 2. Instead of changing the months to fit the year, change the year to fit the months. These are called lunar calendars, and they make a year exactly 12 lunar months, or about 354 days instead of 365. This is the system that the Islamic calendar uses, which explains why Muslims don't really have a Christmas-Hanukkah equivalent. Muslim holidays happen in a slightly different season each year, and it's kinda hard to have a winter holiday when 20 years later it's turned into a summer holiday. Now, I want to make a quick disclaimer. If you're a Muslim and think that God has ordained that everyone should fast once every 12 months and that we should all use this calendar to keep track of certain holidays and observances and such, okay, fine, those are perfectly harmless beliefs and I have no problem with them. But, and I know I say this at the risk of coming across as just another Westerner talking about how barbaric Islam is, but I hope you don't mind if I say that, from the perspective of someone who doesn't believe any of that, this just looks kinda stupid. Maybe not quite as stupid as our calendar. Like, I guess if you're going to base everything off of the moon and just ignore the solar year, you might as well start recycling month names every 12 months or something. But, I mean, at least our calendar is useful for, like, farming and stuff where you need to pay close attention to the seasons. Point is, whereas we're left with these vaguely month-like months that aren't actually months, you guys wind up with these vaguely year-like years that aren't actually years, and I have trouble deciding whether that's better or worse. And now, allow me to introduce the third idea, and the only one that makes any sense at all. Lunisolar Calendars, where you vary the number of months in a year. Make the years sometimes have 13 months, and sometimes have 12. Months will always line up with the phases of the moon, and they'll also always be in the same season. Most of the calendar systems I've read about actually work this way, including the Jewish calendar, the Chinese calendar, the Indian calendar, and loads of others. Which makes sense! Of course most people in the world would do things this way. This is the obvious solution to an easy problem, and I do not get why the two most popular calendar systems in the world each do something else. Okay, I got that out of my system. Rant over. Back to linguistics.